is true success in life, when you become part of somebody else's testimony. I want to talk to you about taking your business and your life to the next level. Success in business and success in life is greatly dependent upon our ability to influence others in a positive way. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Ability to Influence, and I am so excited about today's guest. This dude is an unbelievable motivational speaker, author, business coach. He's out there changing lives, impacting people, influencing people at a very, very high level. So without any further ado, help me welcome Jermain Miller. What's up, brother?
I need my audience in here first. My brother Steve, how's everything going, man? I'm super excited to be here. Also, I'm blessed to hear the sound of your voice and see your face right now.
Yeah, you too, man. You know, we met a while back actually at an event here in Tampa, Florida that one of your connections was holding, and something just sparked me to go and attend that event that day and do a little bit of networking, and you got up there on stage and you spoke, and out of everybody at that event that spoke, man, you were one that I just felt like really had it all together, bro. And so you were definitely somebody that I wanted to connect with at the end of that event, and we did. And obviously you're up in New York, man, and you know, we've stayed in contact, and I know I've been following you and you've been following me. And we even had a situation last year where we were, at one point, you were going to come down and speak at one of my events, and we had something that happened that kept that from taking place. But we're definitely going to make that happen without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, man, you're really, dude, you're somebody special, bro. And I know that, you've got a huge heart, man. You're a very sharp dude, and you've been mentored well, and you're impacting people at a really high level. But I think obviously we want to give everybody a little bit of the backstory. How did you even become a speaker, bro? When did that shift take place? What were you doing prior to being a speaker and a coach, and how did that shift happen?
Yeah, so I mean, just a little bit of a backstory about me. I'm raised in a single parent household. My mother raised me and my younger brother. We was raised on Staten Island, New York, which is one of the forgotten boroughs here. It's 5 boroughs. Staten Island is one of them. And she did what was best for us: put a roof over our head, clothes on our back, food on the table. That's basically all you can ask for a single mother. I had some influences growing up. One of my influences from a positive perspective was my grandmother. She was someone who I looked up to. She was a church secretary at a Baptist church, making $200 a week. But her energy, her belief in God is what fueled me. But she lived in Harlem in the 80s. In Harlem, in the Bronx, in New York City in that time, I mean, drugs, violence, gangs, the evolution of rap, everything was going on. But what I did see from my grandmother was I didn't want her living there. So that was my first goal growing up. I did what I thought was the best thing to do, and that was to go to school, get good grades, first person in college, all these scholarships, nice, all this great stuff. But here's what happened. My first form of adversity in life, and that was when we discovered my grandmother had lung cancer. So I dropped out of college, one of my early, bad decisions, but I dropped out of college, went home to be with my grandmother. Shortly thereafter, the lung cancer ripped through her body. She's gone. And I remember the day I was 19 years old, we buried her. I also didn't realize when we buried my grandmother, I buried my dreams and I buried my goals. And about 25 years old, I woke up, I'm sleeping on the floor in the basement. I got 93 cents in my account and pennies in my pocket. And I'm like, how did all of this stuff happen? Like what? And sometimes in life, George Bernard Shaw once said, people are always blaming the circumstances for what they are. He said, I don't believe in circumstances. The people that get on in this world are the people who look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, they make them. But the
Yeah.
problem I was having at that point was I was making circumstances, I was just making circumstances I did not want. So I
Right.
had to finally come to terms with myself and that self-reflection. And I asked myself, if I continue doing what I'm doing now, in 5 years, where will I be? But
Right.
the hard part, I think, for most people is they can't see themselves out of where they are. So they
Mm.
continue to do these things, the things that they don't want to do, the things they feel they have to do, because they just can't see life better for them. But I did. And even though
Yeah.
I didn't have the money, I wound up borrowing $250 at that time to become a real estate agent. And I worked hard. And for 10 years of my life, I worked for different real estate firms and different companies. I earned well over 200 million in sales. I did 200 million in sales in real estate. I became a top real estate agent in the country, in the city, because of
Nice.
my desire to like just be different and to have better in my life. But here's what I discovered, Steve. I loved helping people.
Mm.
In that time, I didn't just love helping people with their homes, but I loved helping people with their lives. But I also realized that I was working for somebody else. And in order for me to impact and empower people to live their dream, I had to start living mine. Even
Mm.
though I was earning the money, I was working with somebody else. I was building their dream. I wasn't building mine. So I
Wow.
finally decided to open up my own company in 2015. And with that came the agony, the pain, the frustration of being a business owner, where it made me take a look at personal development and
Right.
reading and studying and becoming more, because we're in a people business. And
Right.
being in a people business, people have different emotions, different backgrounds, different mindsets, different way of doing things, but we're all focused on one thing, and that's success. And so I wanted to really help people with their lives, not just with their jobs. And in 2018, I finally got the courage to put Jermain Miller Consulting together, where we help companies, corporations, individuals lead the greatest lives by becoming the greatest version of themselves.
Nice. Nice. So, you said something, man, pretty profound, and it's a lot of times people base their actions off of their current circumstances, and there's really two shifts that take place. Either somebody's circumstances are at a place where they don't want them to be, so they make major changes and take major bold actions to change their circumstances, or they take action to just survive in the circumstance that they're in. And what happens is they continue to get the same result, which keeps
Exactly.
them in the same exact circumstance. So that's pretty powerful, man. So no matter, what somebody's circumstance is, they have the power to take the actions to change their current circumstance.
Absolutely.
You had a mentor, man. Talk a little bit about your mentor, bro. I know you love tooting his horn. He's one of my favorites,
Yes.
obviously, and
Yeah.
and I know obviously he holds a very special place in your heart as well. Talk about who mentored you in the speaking industry.
And so I got, I mean, I'm lucky here to be mentored by the Phil Jackson of the motivational world, none other than the legendary Les Brown himself. But again, that whole thing started with an idea. I'm living a nightmare, being homeless, sleeping on the floor, every reason to do well, but I'm failing. And I see this book by Les Brown called Live Your Dreams. So I'm living a nightmare. He's got a book called Live Your Dreams. And I started reading that. And there was something in there that said, you have something special, you have greatness in you. And that
Mm,
really resonated different for me, man. It was like the first time somebody said something that I actually believed, Steve. It was the first
yeah.
time somebody of a male, figure, influencer spoke something, even if it was just the words in the book, that I said, you know what, man, I do have something special. I am great, or I do have greatness in me. I don't know what's blocking it right now, but I don't want it to block anymore. And even though that was years ago when I read the book, I finally started to say to myself, one day I want to be in his life too. He was so influential, impactful. How can I be influential and impactful in his life too as well? And I remember going to a Get Motivated seminar. You remember those Get Motivated
Oh yeah.
seminars? They
Yeah.
travel the country. I went to one. I got the highest ticket there, so I thought. They told me I could take photos with Les Brown. I'm all fired up to finally tell my mentor how impactful he was in my life, but I find out that I did not get the right ticket. I was devastated. But I sat down at this event and I said to myself, that's it. I'm not supposed to be in his life as a picture taker. I'm supposed to be in his life as a spiritual son. It was at
Right.
that moment that I made the decision that no matter what happens in life, this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And through the whole law of attraction, whenever we decide what we want in life, life has a unique way of giving us exactly that thing. You know,
Yeah.
most people don't get what they want in life, Steve, because they never decide what it is that they do want. They only decide what they want after what they don't want appears.
Right.
And what I didn't want appeared that day, but I did decide after that, this is what I want my life to be. And we've had a phenomenal relationship. He wrote the forward to my first book, Wake Up and Win. It was a very impactful moment for me to be able to do something like that. And he's been very instrumental in my career.
That's awesome, bro. So you just brought up the book, man. You obviously are about to release your second book, or have you
Yes.
already released that yet?
No, August 22nd. I do
August
have a
22nd.
copy of it right here. Wake Up and Live.
Woo.
I
So
wrote
the
this book
first,
in 6 days.
so your first book is Wake Up and Win,
Wake Up and
and
Win.
then
Yes.
yeah, second book is Wake Up and Live. Now it's funny because I watched a video. Obviously, you know that I coach people on writing their books. I have a
Yes.
program called the Author Academy, and we've helped a lot of coaches and speakers write their books, and we have a lot going through the program right now. And I really loved your video the other day. Matter of fact, I shared it in my Author Academy Facebook
Oh, wow.
group.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because you were talking about, how long it took you to write the first book and then how quickly you wrote the second book. Speak to that for a second.
Yeah, so I mean, the first book, I mean, whew, I took me, first of all, I had to decide. Again, that's the biggest thing, man. I'm sure you hear this too, being a coach in this industry, man. People like, oh, I want to write a book. I've been wanting to write a book for 5 years. I got so much information. Then you talk to the person, a year later. I just had so many things happen in my life. I never decided to write the book, right?
That's right.
But here I am now making a decision to write this book. And it took me 2 years, Steve, 2 years to write this book. But in this process of me writing this book, I dealt with adversity. I dealt with setback. I dealt with trying to figure this whole process out. I dealt with giving money to companies that I thought was going to help me publish this book the right way, and they took my money and disappeared. I dealt with all of those things to finally produce this book. And then the next time I decide to write a book, I got all of the ingredients now, right? Because I studied this. So while the writing perspective helped me, and now I write a book in 6 days, the first book I paid the price.
Yeah.
So the second book was a lot easier. And that's where I think most of us get challenged by, Steve. We don't want to pay the price. We got to be willing to exchange something, time, effort, energy, commitment for the goal or the dream. And a lot of us don't want to do that.
That's right.
But whenever we do that, the second time around, things become a lot easier for us.
Well, it's when things become priority as well, bro. It's funny.
Yes.
You tell your story, and I resonate with it so much because, my first book, it took me a year to write that book. But in reality, it only took me 2 weeks to write the book because once I got laser focused and I had made up my mind and made that decision, I started imagining people having my book in their hand. I started imagining, one of the key things, and I tell people this all the time, is I actually had my graphic designer. The shift for me, and I know it sounds crazy and maybe a little superficial, but I had my graphic designer design the book cover. And when he sent me the book cover and I saw the title of the book and I saw my name at the bottom, it became very real to me. And it lit a fire in me because I wanted to put that book in people's hands as quickly as I could. And I went to my wife. I remember saying, hey, listen, I've got to do this and I got to do it now. I got to quit playing with it. And I'm going to lock myself in my office and I'm going to work on this book nonstop every day until it's done. And I literally did that, man. And I had the book done in less than 2 weeks, where I had been playing around with it for a year, so I did. I made that decision. So that's very powerful, because a lot of people, man, they haven't just made the decision to do it yet. So how important do you think it is, Jermain, for a speaker or a coach to be a published author?
I mean, obviously, you have credibility in whatever it is that you're speaking about. Someone says, "Hey, man, you took the time to write this material to inspire, impact. I want to buy your book, and this book could potentially land you other speaking gigs. And now
Mhm.
you're a published author. You're someone that people look up to, respect. So I believe that that's powerful. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember us having a conversation early on, me and you on the phone. And this was before, and you were very influential, believe it or not, behind the scenes with me pushing through my book because you shared this powerful story with me, and you talked about how you were on the airplane one day and you gave your book to somebody, or I believe it was the airplane or somewhere where you
Yeah.
were, and you gave your book to this person. This person gave the book to somebody who was in the prison, and
Mhm.
then they wind up either buying a whole bunch of books or having you come to the prison, or you were working on something. And I said, man, how much further can my message reach, or how much more impactful can I be without being seen? When someone hears my story, or someone reads something in the book that I may have wrote. And here's the thing that Les Brown shared with me: everyone has a purpose in this world, and each of us has the ability to impact and inspire someone different than how I might impact them. So for
Right.
instance, you may inspire people and you may impact them in a different way, and I might say something, but what your story says resonates with them different than what I might say. And when
Right.
people understand that, we all have our own audience. I might not have your followers, and that's okay. There's millions of people in this world,
Sure.
but you have a voice, you have a purpose. So when we talk about how powerful or how impactful having a book is, I mean, it's life changing because your story is going to resonate with someone different than my story in my book. Or
Yeah.
someone might hear my story of how I overcame this area, and I went through the same exact thing, man. Oh man, that's powerful that you overcame that, and now I can implement these strategies and these things, and then maybe I could get him on a podcast, or maybe I could get him
Yeah.
on a Zoom call, or maybe I could get him on this event, and then that opens the world to you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I always tell people too, man, it's a legacy product. You know, if you think about it from a long term perspective, you know, Jermaine, you got children, right? You got a few boys,
Yes,
right?
yes, three, yep.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine um, their kids. You know, if the good Lord leaves us here that long,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Um, Picking up your book off of a shelf long after you're gone, picking
Right.
your book up and reading it and knowing who their great grandfather was and what he stood for and imparting your words of wisdom into their life, and you're long gone, bro. How powerful is that? You know,
Yes.
so yeah, writing a book is huge, whether you're a speaker, a coach, entrepreneur, or a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
Getting
Right.
your message and getting your heart and putting it in paper and inspiring others is huge. So obviously, man, there's been a lot of big changes here, dude.
Yeah.
COVID-19. I know it's been a tough year, bro, for a lot of people. I know that our my speaking business took a huge hit this year, obviously, with all of my keynotes being canceled for the year and all the events that we had planned out for the year, having to cancel those. And I'm sure that this has had an impact on your speaking business as well, bro. What kind of pivot did you make during this? What kind of shift and changes, not only mentally, bro, but physically in your business? What changes did you make to stay afloat and to keep pressing forward towards your goal?
I was watching CNN recently. No, this was like mid-March. I was watching CNN. We all know CNN stands for constant negative news, but I'm here
Right.
watching, coronavirus, riots, all this stuff, and I'm glued to the TV. This is a true story, Steve. I'm glued to it every day. I'm watching this stuff, and I'm wondering why every time I turn off the TV, I'm so gloomy, I'm so angry, I'm so frustrated. I couldn't figure it out. One day I'm watching the news, and I'm seeing the riots, I'm seeing fires, I'm seeing looting, I'm seeing police, I'm seeing fighting, it's craziness. It's literally crazy, Steve.
Right.
But the cameraman's got the camera on his shoulder. He's zooming around and he zeroes in on something. And I noticed this wasn't by accident, at least for me. I saw a person laying on a bench with the covers pulled over their eyes. Steve, it's fires, it's looting, it's riots, it's screaming, it's horns honking. Everybody's outside. There's a person on the bench with the covers pulled over their eyes. And I asked myself this question. I said, am I lying somewhere mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically with the covers pulled over my eyes because I fear the worst for my life and my family, and I'm not doing nothing about it? In the midst of the chaos, this person is on a bench with the covers pulled over their eyes. And I said, I can't no longer look at this like this. I can't get up every morning in fear of my dream, in fear of what's going to happen tomorrow, in fear. I can't get up no more like that. And it was literally at that point, I turned off the TV. I haven't looked at the news since March, but I walked into my office and I started writing Wake Up and Live, because here's a challenge right now. Most people don't actually believe that they can live anymore. They don't have anything else to live for. They see everything that's going on in the world. They fear. It's fear. Everything that we see on a daily basis is fear. But that's being suggested to us. And we have the choice to choose what we allow to penetrate here. So it was at that moment that I said, you know what? Yeah, I can't speak for the year. I canceled events. I had 50 events for the entire year canceled. I'm counting on this. I'm counting on going there. I'm counting on market. I'm counting on all those things. But here's what I know. People right now in this industry, in this market, have to be willing to do the things today that others won't do, so that they can have in the future the things others won't have. Right. And when I realized that, I said, you know what? Successful people are born in adversity. So I got to start thinking a little different. How can I think different? Who do I really want to be? What do I want to have? And ultimately, where do I want to end up? Because when all of this stuff is over and the smoke clears, if I'm doing what I'm doing right now and us laying on a bench with the covers pulled over my eyes, when the smoke is clear, I'll be so far behind the 8 ball, I don't think I'll recover then either.
Wow. 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 Bro, listen.
So I had to get up.
Listen, man, that is so extremely powerful, because so many people right now are just stuck, bro.
Stuck.
They're stuck, dude. They're stuck in the fear, man. They're stuck in the unknown. They're stuck in the uncertainty. And you know what I think it is, bro? I think it's because they haven't yet found what it is that they're supposed to be doing with this life.
That's powerful. And it's the absolute truth. It is the absolute truth. It's called the will to live, right? We're going to go through things in life. I was just talking to a client before I hopped on. We're going to go through things of life. That's the whole process of life. But in order for us to get to the next level in life, we have to learn everything that we need to learn on this level in order to get promoted. That's what school is all about. You learn everything you need to learn on this level and get promoted. In fact, James Allen once said, circumstances only reveal who we are to ourselves. What that basically means is all of the things that we've been getting, or all of the things that's happening in our lives right now, they're only revealing who we are to ourselves. So if we want more, which we can have, we have to look at these circumstances and say, who am I becoming because of these circumstances? Am I just hiding on the bench? Am I running away from this stuff? No, I got to get back up, and I got to get in the game of life, and I got to look for what it is that I'm supposed to be. Steve, who are you, or what is this world going to be because you showed up? That's purpose, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's purpose.
Listen, bro, wake up and live, bro. Where can they go to get their hands on this book, bro?
They can go to get their hands on it on Amazon. It's on pre-order right now. August 22nd, it's going live, but you can pre-order your copy of Wake Up and Live.
Where can they go to connect with you, man, if they want you to speak, whether it's virtually or whether they want to get you to a live event in the near future, man?
Yeah,
where can they go to connect with you, bro?
all my social media handles are the same: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all Jermain Miller, JermainMiller. Or you can email the office at Jermain@JermainMiller.com.
Listen, bro, we could sit here and we could talk for days, you and I, man. And we're definitely going to circle back around and do this again.
I believe
but
that.
I'm gonna cut us right here. And the reason I'm gonna do that, bro, is because you said something so powerful. I don't even want us to go any further.
Wow.
Because it's time for people to wake up, to pull the covers off of their face, to figure out what it is that they're supposed to be doing, what that purpose is, block out all the white noise that's going on around them, and wake up and live, bro, right?
Yep, that's that.
That's the message today.
That's the message.
Listen, Jermain, man, I love you, bro. God bless you, man. Thank you so much for your time, for being on here. And for all of you that are watching this or listening to this right now, you know, time is one of those assets that you can never, ever replace. And you gave some of that precious time to me and Jermain this morning or today or this evening. And we love you for it. God bless you guys. And we will see you soon.
See you guys.
That is true success in life, when you become part of somebody else's testimony. I want to talk to you about taking your business and your life to the next level. Success in business and success in life is greatly dependent upon our ability to influence others in a positive way.